Hey guys, Prof Sales here with you today on another 10 at 10. And today we're going to talk about shipping on eBay. This subject seems to generate a lot of angst, I guess is maybe the best word. A lot of angst in the minds of a lot of resellers. And I'm not really sure why, but I'm going to try to answer, I don't know if it's really questions, but maybe just how you approach shipping and what you can do to make it just simple, or at least how I've always approached it. And obviously there's going to be some differences depending on, excuse me, on what you sell. But we're going to talk about shipping just kind of like from a big macro perspective for a moment, and then we'll talk about nuts and bolts. So let me talk about objective. So what's your objective with shipping? So here's the definition I'm going to give you. To ship your item as securely and quickly as possible while ensuring you do not lose money on shipping cost. So that's our objective with shipping on eBay. At least this is the way I approach it. To ship your item as securely and quickly as possible while ensuring you do not lose money on your shipping cost. Nobody likes to lose money, and at least as a seller, right? And buyers like to get their items as quickly as possible, and securely packed so that they're not damaged when they come there. And so that's how I approach shipping for anything, whether it's shoes, whether it's jeans, whether it's a breakable, whatever it is. So that's how I would approach it if I were you. I start off with kind of that mindset, and that'll take you down this the correct road, I think. So let me talk about a couple tools that you need. All right, so what do you need to ship on eBay securely and quickly as possible while also keeping your costs down? Well, I think you need a few things. First of all, I think you need a scale. A scale is going to allow you to get the exact shipping weight of every item once you've got all the items that are going to go in the package. And I have a link to the scale that we use. It's an associate link in the description of this video, which I like. It's a little Accutech scale you can get on Amazon. I think they're about 25 bucks. And they go up to 110 pounds, which is great. That's going to give you enough room for most of the items you're going to ship. But the bigger thing here is, too, guys, I want to remind you about that when you weigh items on a scale, you don't have to pack the items the way that they're going to go out yet. All you really need to do is weigh how much the box and the packing and the label and the item are. So they can all just be kind of lumped on the scale. What I like to do is I don't have one here in front of me, but I will take like a medium flat rate box. I will lay that on the scale, zero it out so it has no weight, and then I will put all of my shipping supply or all of my shipping packaging as well as the item on the scale. Like the big, huge, medium flat rate box gives you a big work surface on the scale. You zero it out so it doesn't count that in. And then I will just put all the stuff that I'm going to actually ship on there, even if there's packing and so on. And that way I know exactly how much it all weighs before I pack it all up. Because if you pack it all up and then you realize maybe it took you into a different shipping tier and maybe you could have taken a little bit out and made it a little bit cheaper, it's better just to do it all up front, and then you're ready to go. So that's the first thing you need, a good scale. Don't skimp on that. You don't have to go crazy and buy the most expensive one. Like I said, the one that we suggest is like 25 bucks. But it'll pay for itself over and over. The second thing you're going to need is packing supplies. All right, so I'm going to put here bubble wrap, packing tape. What else did I put out? Airbags. So all those supplies you're going to need just for, you know, the variety of things that come up. Bubble wrap is great. Bubble wrap sends the impression to your buyer that you care about their item, and you've bubble wrapped it so it's protected. And there's different densities of bubble wrap. Some are really thin and others are kind of a bigger bubble. And you can play around with that a little bit. You don't have to go crazy on it. You can find bubble wrap even at like the dollar store. You can buy it online for really cheap. Packing tape, again, you can buy this in bulk and get a good deal on it. You're going to need tape. You're going to have to tape things up from time to time. Sometimes you're going to have to tape bubble wrap around an item. So don't skimp on packing tape. You're going to need it. Airbags are great if you've got just a box. We got just a little extra room, and you don't really need to bubble wrap it, but you don't want the item to move around, so you can just throw a couple airbags in. One pro tip here, guys, if you're buying things from Amazon or eBay, like your supplies, repurpose the supplies that you get from other sellers when they ship something to you. A lot of times this stuff will already be in there. You can use it again, and you can just, when you're not using it, just put it all in a box and have it ready. And when you need some of this, you can just pull some out, put it in your package, and you're good to go. So those are some packing supplies you're going to need. I'm probably forgetting some things. And another thing you're going to need too is boxes and/or I will call it shipping envelopes. Now these you can get free supplies from the USPS if you're using the USPS to ship things. Don't use their boxes in a different way. Don't turn them inside out and do things like that. That's actually against the rules. But and ship them another way. Don't do that. But boxes you can get for free sometimes from grocery stores, retail stores. Again, if you're buying things online, you can repurpose those boxes. Shipping envelopes and boxes you can get from USPS for free. If you go on the USPS website, you can order this and have it shipped right to your house for free. It doesn't cost anything. A lot of these supplies, and of course your post office will often have some supplies on the lobby as well. So those are quick, easy ways to get those, but you're going to need supplies, guys. So those are some of them. So let's talk about the types of shipping that we will do and what that looks like. It's going to clear my board. I've been trying to clean it a little better lately just so it's not writes a little better on here. And it does work, but it just takes a little longer. It's actually cleaning pretty well today, so who knew? All right, so what do we need for types of shipping? I'm going to keep this really simple. I'm going to talk about 3 types of shipping. There's a couple other options on eBay. There's like local pickup, and there's also a freight option. Those are less common, so I'm not going to go into those today. But I am going to talk about these other 3 and maybe how those will you can use those. So, all right. So there's 3 major types I want you to think about. First is flat. All right. So what does flat mean? Buyer pays one flat rate. So this is, you're going to go in and you're going to say, all right, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, if you buy this item, it's going to cost you $10 in shipping. No matter where you live, no matter how far it has to go or how close it's going, it's going to cost you $10. And that fee could be a different amount. Now, this is nice because it lets the buyer know exactly what they're going to pay for shipping before they even order, which is pretty cool. Now, some of you out there are going to say, but Prof, if you're charging flat rate shipping and you live on the East Coast and you're shipping to the West Coast, it's expensive. And you're right, it is expensive. So how do you figure out what your flat rate would be? This is actually not that difficult to figure out. You can use a little prof math here and average this out. So let's say you live, let's say you're shipping an item that if you ship it locally, it may cost $8 to ship. On the other hand, we'll say to the other coast, we'll just use that example, it costs $14 to ship. All right, and you can find those rates out by going to the USPS website and putting in your zip code and then shipping to another zip code across the country or somewhere different, and then just putting in the weight and the size of the object. So if you're shipping a lot of, say, clothing, for instance, you're gonna be able to figure out the weight. If you're shipping a lot of clothing that's under a pound, this is all gonna be a first class rate, by the way. But if you look at this, $8 and $14, the midpoint between those two is $11. So in the long run, you're gonna have some $8 costs, you're gonna have some $9 costs, some $12 costs, some $14 costs, but in the long run, it's gonna average out to about 11 bucks. All right. So what I would do, I would go in and I'd probably round this up to 12, just to give yourself a little cushion, and I would charge a flat rate of $12 on that item if I was doing flat rate shipping on item. And I've experimented around with that. I've done, right now it costs me, well, we'll get into this, but it costs me $6.30 to ship jeans, but I get charged fees, on top of my shipping, and, shipping fees or shipping income is taxable, all these things. So I actually charge like $8.50. That gives me enough leeway for the fees as well as tax liability, as well as maybe just a little bit of processing and so on, to kind of give me a little bit of just a little bit of a cushion there. Remember, guys, your goal is to not make or necessarily lose or make money on shipping, but you definitely don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose money on shipping. And there's no reason you have to if you do this right. And you're going to get upset if you do this, because you're going to charge 12 and somebody's going to get something in California and you live in Maine and it's going to cost 14 or 14.50 or whatever. And you're going to say, man, I lost money on it. But then your next sale, you're going to charge 12 and you're going to ship something from Maine to New Hampshire. And it's going to cost like $8. And you're going to make $4 in shipping income, theoretically. It's going to average out over time. So that's how you can do a flat rate if you're shipping a lot of items that are the same weight, will go in the same package, and so on. If they're different items, then if they're different weights and sizes, then the next solution would be calculated. Now, calculated shipping is just what it sounds. So this is based basically on the weight and distance, roughly. USPS has their own calculations for how they do all this. But again, you can use that calculator at their website to figure out how much this would be, but it doesn't matter. eBay is going to use that for you. So let's say you're shipping a 1.5 pound item, to California from, where I'm at here in North Carolina. It's going to go in, and if somebody's buying something from me in California, it's going to go in and it's going to look at the weight and the size and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to figure out how much it's going to cost them. And it's going to tell the buyer that before they buy it. It's going to say, well, look, shipping is going to be this much. The great thing about this is, as a seller, you don't have to worry about if you're going to get, make or lose money on shipping. It's going to configure the correct amount of shipping cost. Okay. So that's, an easy way to make sure that you're not getting screwed over on shipping. The downside to this method is you have to weigh and have shipping dimensions for every single item that you're sending. Now, if you're selling a lot of items like I do, like that are jeans or shoes, for instance, we'll focus on jeans. Almost all jeans will fit in a padded flat rate envelope from the USPS. I know it's going to cost me $6.30. I can charge a flat fee of $8.50 and it's good to go. But if I was shipping a lot of different items, like if I was shipping a 9-ounce item, and then I was shipping a 2.3 pound item, and then a 1.6 pound item, and they were going all over the place, figuring out flat rate would be really difficult to do in that situation. So I would want to do calculate on each one. But remember, guys, when you do that and you do your listing, you're going to have to put in what the dimensions and the weight are of that item, okay, and how you're going to ship it. And there's different shipping options. I'm not going to go into all those today, but there's different shipping options based on how long you want it to take and how cheap you want it to be. And there's different ways that can work out to your advantage as well. But you will have to have the weight and the size of the item and so on to do this. The last one is free shipping, right? It's great. It costs no one anything. Okay, wrong. It costs you money as a seller. So free shipping gets, I don't know why, but like it seems like it's more, people are more confused about this one than anything else. So let's say with free, guys, you're not really, it's not really free. First of all, it's not. There is no such thing as free shipping. Free shipping is figured into your cost of doing business. So let's say that you want to sell a $20 item with free shipping, and you calculate that shipping on average is going to cost you $7 on average. Well, you would probably make your price somewhere around $27. You would add that cost in. Now, the pro to that is that you're not going to lose money on that shipping, and you get to offer free shipping, or at least a specter of free shipping to your buyer, and they're like, great, it's free shipping. I'm not paying anything. That's not really true. They are paying. They're paying in this extra cost for the item. Free shipping listings sometimes on eBay get pushed up and higher in search. Theoretically, they sell better according to eBay's metrics. You know, they might and they might not. But there's some downsides to this too. The downside is you are paying the shipping cost, and if the person sends the item back to you, you've got to refund them the full $27. So you're effectively paying the shipping cost again. So you're losing a shipping cost. So any return, you're going to eat the shipping on it, which is going to cost you a little bit. So you got to figure that into your business model. The other downside is to it, and this is the big one, guys. If you offer free shipping, okay, you better be very careful that you understand exactly what it's going to cost you to ship that item to different locations. I had this happen to my niece. She offered free shipping on something, and she lives on the East Coast, and this was kind of a heavier item, several pounds, and she had to ship it to the West Coast, and it ended up costing like $42 in shipping, which is not cheap. And it took all of her profit right out of the item. She kind of gambled with the whole free shipping and didn't figure out exactly how much the shipping was really going to cost her. So you got to be careful with the free shipping. It's a great tool. It's a great way to run your business, and there's a lot of advantages to it. But you've also got to understand, guys, what your shipping cost is. And if you're shipping a heavier item, like anything that weighs, say, more than a pound, honestly, I would be very sure that you knew exactly what the shipping was going to cost in the worst case scenario that that item goes to Hawaii or Alaska, and we've literally got to give it a plane ticket to get there. It's going to be expensive. Or worse, it even goes overseas and you're not using global shipping. That could be disastrous and how much it would cost you. And remember, guys, once you've told the buyer that it's free shipping, you've entered into a contract with that buyer, basically say, hey, you're not paying any extra fees for this. So you're now obligated, even if it makes you sell it at a loss. So there's no reason to have to sell anything ever at a loss on shipping. So be sure that you understand that up front. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, guys, is with your process, once you figured out the shipping, once you got it ready to go, package your item securely and get it to the post office or FedEx or UPS or however you're shipping it. Get it there quickly. I mean, nothing's going to get you negative feedback more quickly than just taking too much time to ship your items, guys. You're not in control of these shipping services, but you are in control of how fast you print out the label and how quickly you get it to their particular place, the drop-off location. You are in control of that, and you don't want to give a buyer any reason to give you negative feedback or anything like that and have a complaint. It's just like a dumb thing to get nicked on. So just make sure that you package the item up securely and you get it to wherever it needs to go to be sent off very, very quickly as well. And then you've done your part. But those are some quick tips for free shipping. Those are some quick tips for how to approach shipping on eBay. There's obviously more to this subject that you could talk about, but I hope those were helpful. So that's our 10 at 10 for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow. Karen's got another 10 at 10. I'm not even sure what she's talking. What are you talking about tomorrow, Karen? I have no idea. She has no idea, so that's a good start. But we will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment if you like or a question, and we'll see you guys real soon. Take care, everybody.